Okay. Great. Let's get started. All right. Let's talk about the prize pack, shall we? So we got the sweet prize pack. You can see a few different products in here. Prime Virility. We're going to talk about all of these products tonight. Okay. And they are beneficial on so many levels. They're so wonderful. I love these products from CanPrev. Oh man, I can't say enough about them. And we're gonna learn all about it. So here's me. I am Dr. Rory Gibbons, naturopathic doctor and licensed in British Columbia. I have two little boys running around upstairs at the moment, and I have another little boy on the way, which is just a whole nother level of crazy. But we're super excited to welcome that little guy coming in March. And we might have to, and I'll change this to father of three little boys and put a picture of me that's a little bit grayer in here. So that being said, what are we going to talk about? Sorry, what do I love about naturopathic medicine and medicine in general? I actually really love functional nutrition, and that's where CanPrev and I really align. And so learning about nutrients and like vitamin C, magnesium, those types of things, and learning how they can be used to optimize our biochemistry. That plus diet, of course. I combine the art of medicine and habit coaching in my practice. I find that when people make 1,001% changes, they feel so good for so long. And so if anyone thinks, where have I heard that before? You're right. It's from Atomic Habits, the book. And if you haven't read that book, I put it on your list, put it on your Christmas list, or actually just jump the gun and get it now, or get the ebook or the audio book. It's wonderful. A couple things about me. We are coming into November, December here, so it's Star Wars time of the year for me. I love Star Wars, and I'm learning so much more about the Star Wars galaxy through these new episodes and new spin-offs. So I really enjoy that. Just a little geek thing there. I love cycling. I live in Fort Langley in British Columbia, and it's a cycling mecca here, so I really love it. What will you learn today? Yeah, you're going to learn a lot of stuff. I'm just going to do one thing there. A bunch of great stuff about hormones and how we can essentially facilitate healthy function and production of those hormones, how we can support them, how we can make more of them, how we can make less of them, and how we can use them to optimize our life. We're going to gain an understanding of hormones and how they take priority over other hormones in times of stress. Okay. Just want to check the chat box here. Oh, audio cut out. Sorry. Okay. Everyone can hear me, so that's wonderful. Star Wars books. No. Yes, Star Wars books. Read them. You'll love them, but Atomic Habits is the one. Okay. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me there. Great. I'm not going to check the questions or the chat box until the end now. So gain an understanding of how hormones take priority over other hormones in times of stress. Learn what balancing hormones really means. It's a very trendy term. Learn daily practices to support hormone production and explore the uses of herbs and nutrients when supporting those hormones. Yeah, well, why don't we lay a foundation here first? We'll talk about stress, okay? Because everyone knows what stress is and kind of knows it's not, a little bit is healthy, but a lot is not so healthy. So we kind of break stress down into two sections here. Okay, we have sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous functioning. That sympathetic is that fight or flight response, right? And everyone kind of knows that, where you get really really jazzed up when a negative stress happens, like someone cuts you off in traffic, or you have to go into a conflict resolution type of situation. Parasympathetic rest and digest state. Usually this is happening when we are sleeping, hopefully. Chronic versus acute here. Chronic is long-standing elevations of stress. Okay, so when I'm talking about chronic stress during the presentation, think of things such as, I've been in a stressful job for 10 years or a year. That's chronic stress. I've been in a stressful relationship plus job for 20 years. Those kind of things. Those are chronic situations of stress. Acute stress is something that is short and makes you feel, high levels of intensity for a short amount of time. That's a normal response. That's a normal, healthy response. That over time, not so healthy for us, okay? So the stress hormones that we're going to be talking specifically here are cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. Those are the stress hormones. Okay, so what is a hormone? It's a good question. So a substance that's produced in a gland, like an adrenal gland or testes or ovaries, and it's released into the blood and it flows around the body and then acts on other cells to activate or inactivate them. Okay, so examples of hormones here. Made this sweet Venn diagram. These are hormones here. Okay, so cortisol, aldosterone, estrogen, progesterone. Everyone's kind of like heard those terms before. So these are hormones. They're produced by gland. Then we have these ones on the other side. These are neurotransmitters, okay? And so these are not hormones. They're produced in a different way, and they're more chemical, and they exist in our nervous system, okay? And then we got these things in the middle, E and NE. These are epinephrine and norepinephrine, and they are both hormones and neurotransmitters, okay? So they're produced in glands, but they act on both cells and in the nervous system. Really simplified, this is the hormone cascade, or one hormone cascade. Okay, I'll do that. Oh, perfect. So this is a very simplified version. There's all in between these arrows, or along these arrows, there's a bunch of different like molecules that are broken up, and they make different other larger molecules and other hormones like pregnenolone and progesterone and androgen and dione and testosterone. So you can see that this is interesting. Testosterone goes to estrogens. Huh. Very interesting. So we got to think like what is happening along this arrow that's causing that to happen, right? So I'll just give you a spoiler alert. Things like inflammation in quotation mark, alcohol, excess fat on the body, stress, those types of things. Okay. So we can see like over here, inflammation caused by elevated levels of cortisol and insulin drive certain changes. Okay. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So estrogen, okay, estrogen dominance. A lot of people probably heard this term before. And so, some conditions associated with estrogen dominance, include things like premenstrual syndrome, PMS, or endometriosis, ovarian cysts, uterine fibroids, cystic breast, heavy periods, hormonal acne, all very integrated with high levels of estrogen, high level of testosterone in relation to other hormones. Okay, so it's not necessarily someone is like, you have a ton of estrogen, but you might have a lot of estrogen in relation to progesterone. Okay, this is more so on the female level. Let's talk about mitochondria, because we're going to talk about mitochondrial health in a little while. So what the heck are they? What is that word? So mitochondria, if you think back to Science 10 or Science 9, these are the powerhouses of our cells. They're a little organized organelle that lives inside the cells of our body, okay? They're smaller than a cell, but they live inside it, and they create something called ATP, which is our energy molecule. So why is this important? They have an integral effect on hormone production, right? So we need to support these guys in order to support the production of hormones, okay? So it's important to understand what nutrients are needed for these little guys to work and to make energy. I've really loved mitochondrial nutrients in my practice in the last couple of years. I've really been seeing a lot of improvement, that plus stress support. Kind of an important piece in conception as well, because mitochondria, as you can think, like sperm probably need mitochondria to move, right? So we'll find out later in some fertility products that there's a big need for that. So hormonal impact on male fertility. Okay, so we're just thinking about males here and their role. So really, let's set the stage. So really what we are doing here is supporting the sperm and the semen profile. Okay, so testosterone support. We need testosterone in order to make sperm. So there's a pretty tight correlation between low T and low sperm count. Okay, so we need to improve the number of sperm by increasing testosterone levels. Testosterone also has a pretty important role in erectile function and libido. Okay. Mitochondrial support. I kind of talked about that a moment ago. We are looking at sperm motility. The more healthy those mitochondria are, the more quickly they are going to move and the more straighter they're going to move. I don't know about straighter, but the more efficiently they are going to move towards that egg. Okay. Antioxidant activity. So this is looking at how is reactive oxygen species in the body contributing to the sperm shape and quality. Okay. So things such as cannabis, for instance, and alcohol they can both affect how good, in quotation marks, those sperm are shaped, okay, and how strong they are, right? That's why we build in antioxidant rich materials into our fertility products. Let's talk about female. So hormonal impact on female fertility. So for women, for females, fertility is not just about the egg, okay? Like fertility is all about sperm for men. So we need to support the body's ability to produce progesterone and estrogen at the right times, okay? As well as making sure this person is ovulating, okay? So if hormones are imbalanced, this can affect the ovulation day and regularity. Therefore, menstrual regularity is an important factor, right? We're going to see this in a fertility product in a moment. So progesterone is needed for development of the secondary uterine lining, okay? So, i.e. holding the embryo in the wall of the uterus in these first moments and days of conception. So really important to have an adequate progesterone level, okay? So low P, for instance, low progesterone could be a contributor to recurrent miscarriages, okay? So if that's something that is happening in your life or someone that you know, and they haven't had a progesterone checked, like this could be something to look into, okay? In fact, I'd encourage you to look into it. So estrogen metabolism, okay, is of course important too. So there's too much estrogen, this can pose conception problems, okay? So very common in PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, to have high estrogen levels. However, with the proper care, the odds of conception can increase for sure, okay? So we also can affect how hormones have an effect on our libido. So having adequate progesterone will get you in the mood, and you'll have noticed libido increases about midway through your cycle if your cycle is regular. Okay, so progesterone is it gets you in the mood, but also testosterone. There's a testosterone level in women that we need, you need in order to have libido. We can't forget to mention iron and thyroid levels. Those are easy, simple markers that we need to check when we're looking at conceiving, if there's a risk of conceiving, a risk of miscarriages too. So these need to be screened and then corrected. So that's a lot. Now you know all about fertility and how it works. We didn't know before. Step one, foundations. So bringing the body back into a balance with foundational daily habits. Okay. So in order for supplements and medications and any other medical intervention to work best, we need foundational daily habits to be in check, right? So let's talk about what those things could be in regards to stress. So we got stress in the middle, that psychological stress reduction. We've got this like pressure to conceive, or this pressure to perform at work, or pressure or stress in your relationship. What kind of things are going to be beneficial and what kind of things are going to be not beneficial? Actually, let's just think about what kind of things are going to be beneficial, period. In this little diagram here, drugs and alcohol, these things are not making anything better, okay? Like, if you want to think about fertility and quality of and conception, drugs and alcohol do not contribute to a positive outcome, okay? Physical activity, get moving, absolutely. The best type of physical activity that's been shown to improve hormones and regulate hormones, resistance training, okay? Like over and over again, building muscle improves every aspect of wellness in your body, period, in your life, period. From mental wellness, from thyroid health to testosterone support, to your risk of cardiovascular disease, to your risk of falling and osteoporosis, it all improves those outcomes. We want to support mitochondria. This constant stress produces reactive oxygen species that damage our mitochondria. Therefore, we don't produce as much ATP and energy. Okay, we want to reduce smoking because, well, we know it's not a very good thing for us. And of course, sleep. Man, people need to sleep more and more soundly. And I have so many things to say about that. There's like sleep is such a multifactorial thing, but we all really need it. So how do we eat for hormone support? Simple. It's very simple, theoretically, but we are human and we have habits that we have taken on. Okay, so the first thing I talked about any of my patients is like, what's your protein like? And very rarely my patients are eating at least 100 grams of protein per day. Okay, so around 100 grams of protein, that would be fit for someone who's like 180 pounds. Okay, ish. So I usually say, why don't we aim for 30 grams of protein per meal? That at least gets you to 90 grams. Add a little bit on there, you're probably hovering around 100. There are some doctors out there that you might follow on social media that say eat 1 gram per pound, which is a lot of protein to put in. It's tough. It's tough. I find it difficult. So I aim for 100 and I feel better when I hit that 100 mark for sure. I'm like, I wonder what I'll feel like if I hit 200 grams. My goodness. So protein, good sources. Let's go with like fish and chicken and good quality beef and good quality animal products. If you're not into animal products, like looking to get some really greatly sourced legumes and beans, and tofu as well is not a bad option. Adding in some colorful fruits and vegetables into your life, those carry fiber and they carry carbohydrates and they carry antioxidants as well. Make water your drink of choice. Okay. Coffee, have it in moderation. Okay. I love my coffee. I have 2 8 to 10 ounce cups of coffee per day from as an Americano I make at home. I love it. I love the ritual and it does it for me. And so we want to like have it, but have it in moderation. Okay. Low to no alcohol. New Canada guidelines came out a few months ago, and it's 2 per week is their guidelines. So having two drinks per week has shown to have very negligible negative health outcomes. That being said, others like research in general shows that alcohol has no beneficial qualities to our body. Right? It is a carcinogen. Low to no refined carbohydrates. Okay, they drive insulin, they drive blood sugar dysregulation, and that can lead to inflammation and insulin resistance later. Okay? Have some if you are balancing out your diet with healthy fats, healthy proteins. Indulge once in a while. Okay, it's okay. Overall, Mediterranean style of eating. That is the way to go. That's what I recommend to my patients. I feel like that is the most attainable style of eating, and it kind of grabs most areas of food. Okay. Everyone likes the Mediterranean. Oh man. Repeat step 1. This is just a slide that says, you know what? Really focus on this stuff. Okay, really focus on those foundational principles that you know already. Okay, again, everything that we talked about will be better. All the medications and supplements and interventions that you do will be better if you have solid health foundations. That's kind of what I just said. Delicious. That looks good. I like that meal right there. Step 2, specific interventions. All right, now we're going to get a little bit more specific to like males versus females. Okay, so bringing the body back into balance with specific nutrients and herbs. Oh yes. Okay, so physiological goals for male fertility. All right, so we want to improve testosterone or support or existing testosterone. Okay, we want to reduce unnecessary cortisol production. We want to reduce free radical load. We want to help metabolize hormones. Right? And we, of course, want to support mitochondria because I kind of talked about that a lot at the beginning. Let's talk about low T for a moment. My goodness, testosterone. We need it in our lives, males. How common is low testosterone? 40% of age 45 and older have low total testosterone. And now, like a quarter of men age 25 and older have low testosterone. Okay. So since 1920, here's a great statistic, shocking statistic. Levels have been substantially dropping. So US data shows a 1% decline per year per age. Okay. So why this is overall, okay? So why is this happening? Food and sedentary lifestyle leading to obesity. So obesity will cause an increase in an enzyme called aromatase, and that lives in the fat cells. And so testosterone goes there, goes to this aromatase enzyme and gets produced in or gets changed into estrogen. Okay, so that brings your testosterone down. Environmental toxins those can mess with the hormone cascade. Work, the type of work, less younger men in physical jobs. I would make kind of an argument here or put these together that work doesn't necessarily mean a career or an occupation, but like physical work. So men are less muscular than they have been, and they are more on the like overweight side versus muscular side. This is, of course, in generalities. Okay, and then lifestyle, things like alcohol, things like drugs, things like stress are messing with our testosterone levels. So CanPrev came out with something called Rocket T. I love this name too. It cracks me up, but I love it because it's so appropriate. So what Rocket T does, it promotes healthy testosterone production, okay, by increasing free testosterone, the testosterone that's available to our bodies. It supports libido. It supports desire and arousal for males suffering from age-related androgen decline, right? So age-related testosterone decline. It's going down as we age. It reduces elevated blood lipid levels. It provides support to the resistance to stress and anxiety. Okay, some really great ingredients in this something called testofen, which is a fenugreek extract, and it also has KSM 66, which is an ashwagandha strain. Okay, so ashwagandha, I love this one because there's especially the KSM 66 because there's so much data that supports its ability to bring testosterone levels up. Okay, not super physiologically levels, but like support the production and then brings it up, but also helps to regulate a cortisol rhythm throughout the day. So high in the morning, low in the afternoon, or low in the evening. It also supports healthy glucose levels too. And it has these other pretty integral hormone nutrients. So magnesium, zinc, B6, and D3. So magnesium and B6. These are pretty awesome ingredients for the liver and the liver pathways to process hormones out of the body. Zinc and D3, both great for testicular health as well. 1 cap 3 times a day. Don't have much else to talk about that, but it's a good one. I really like this one. I like this one maybe a little bit more, but I can't, but they're a little bit different, right? So prime virility, so fertility and testosterone, okay? Don't let this discourage a man from taking this that is not trying to get pregnant, okay? So I love this product because it helps testosterone production, which inadvertently helps sperm. And then it also helps mitochondria, which are not only located in the sperm, like it's located all over the body, but this is a really great tasting product too. So let's talk about it. So the testosterone and mitochondrial formula. So half of it's geared towards testosterone support and stress support. And then the other half is geared towards mitochondrial functioning. Okay. So we have, it promotes resistance to stress, testosterone production, and sperm motility. All right. Great product to support mitochondrial health because it has that carnitine and the CoQ10 in it. And I gotta have something to power the tail, right? This is what sperm motility is. And it has saffron and KSM 66 in it. So saffron inside and KSM 66, both like patented types of herbs. Saffron is a really wonderful herb for like an antioxidant profile, but it also has a really wonderful like effect on mood. Maybe that's why I feel so much better when I take this regularly. The saffron, there's another product that CanPrep has called Healthy Mood, and it has saffron in it, and it's a really like powerful mood improver. Okay. Also has selenium, D3, and zinc, all very important antioxidant profile, but also for testicular health too. 1 scoop per day for at least 3 months to notice those differences. I see the differences pretty quick, honestly, especially with the low testosterone guys. When we retest testosterone later, it is coming up. It comes up. Other kind of benefits to this product is that I love the way it tastes. I take it first thing in the morning because it gives me a bit of a jump. Like it's like kind of an ergogenic aid, means gives you energy to do physical work. So I usually take this either before I exercise in the morning or during exercise. It just tastes so good. And also, I didn't mention CoQ10. Oh, I did mention CoQ10. Great for heart health overall as well. Awesome. Let's move on. Adrenal Pro. I love this. This is one of the first adrenal products I ever took as a student back when I was doing my naturopathic degree. It's got a wonderful combination of herbs and nutrients that are there for those chronically tired and that need a mental pick-me-up. Okay. So 1 cap twice a day, space it out. So then you can have that mental pick-me-up in the morning and the mental pick-me-up in the afternoon. These things called adaptogens, I'll explain what these mean. So an adaptogen is something that provides a normalizing effect. Okay. So in other words, something that provides the body what it needs in order to combat any sort of stressor without causing much of a shift in normal functioning. Okay. So it's not like you don't just take this and then go into your stressful situation. This is like something that supports your ability to deal with that stress. Okay. Please take it consistently in order to get an effect. I like this one a little bit more on this one. I like this one because it has herbs that help by acting like cortisol, okay? And they reduce the negative impact of cortisol on tissues, okay? Herbs that help the brain focus in it as well, and herbs that support the immune system in times of chronic stress. 1 cap twice a day. I'd say don't take it like after, 2 o'clock maybe, I don't want to get people not, or have people not sleeping because of this. The Siberian ginseng, it is a little bit more stimulating. Love it. That's such a go-to, that one. So let's talk about physiological goals for the female fertility. So this one a little bit more involved, but we're going to talk about what awesome things we can do to help fertility in this presentation. So estrogen clearance, okay, we want to help with that. Progesterone production, okay, because cortisol can really put a damper on that balance of estrogen and progesterone. We want to modulate cortisol. We want to reduce free radicals. We want to support mitochondria. Those are important in females too, right? And then we also want to support insulin sensitivity and blood sugar metabolism. So we're going to take all those things there, keep them in mind as we go along this journey of products. Healthy hormones, man, this is very simple. We can very simply put, we're looking to increase the progesterone and bring the estrogen down. Okay, so again, thinking about the balance. We're not trying to get rid of estrogen because we need that. We're not trying to blow up progesterone, okay, but we do need an adequate level and a good balance between the two. Okay, so this product here, we're looking to stabilize menstrual irregularities and relieve PMS. Okay, it's got a few awesome products in here. We got Vitex I3C. So Vitex here is a very common herb to use to support progesterone levels. I3C, awesome for liver metabolism and clearance of estrogen. Same with magnesium and B6, same pathway. All right. Phytoproof black cohosh. So this is a patented black cohosh. Black cohosh is a herb. I always thought that this sounded more like a shellfish, but it's not. It's a herb. It reduces the effects of excess estrogen, It reduces the effects of excess estrogen, like night sweats and hot flashes in menopausal women. Right. 2 caps with food. Take this kind of anytime during the day. Just be consistent. Healthy hormones. Adrenal chill. This is one I use with guys too. It says women on the bottle, but this one's really a wonderful product for those men as well who are tired and wired. So for women and men, this is going to help you if you are lying in bed and you're tired and you're like, I want to sleep. All I can think about was that thing at work that person said that was bothering me. Okay, so you're thinking about things, thinking, but you're tired and wired. KSM ashwagandha. Okay, this is something that we talked about earlier, KSM 66. This is the one that is helping to restore that diurnal cortisol rhythm. Okay, I love this product for that. And also the L-theanine in it. It's an amino acid to induce calm and mental clarity without making you feel sleepy. Okay, so by itself, great nutrient for calming the brain. It works really quickly. So like 30 to 60 minutes, you'll feel an effect from the L-theanine. And overall, that KSM 66 ashwagandha is helping. I just see a couple people raise their hands. We're just going to get, I want you to hold that thought or write it down in the Q&A box. So I want to make sure I get through all the product and information first. We're almost there too. We got lots great. We're doing great for time. We're gonna have some good discussion at the end. So adrenal chill, 1 cap twice a day. Absolutely, this is great. One thing I just wanted to add to the L-theanine. So I said really quickly there, like, yeah, it makes you feel calm and induce a mental clarity without making you feel sleepy. Someone described it to me one time as like a restful wakefulness. Okay, this is similar to a feeling that you would get in a meditation session or in the end of a yoga session that you're really into, like a Zen state. All right. So if you're someone who needs to do presentations, this could be really beneficial for you. It's not going to put you into like a completely different state of mind than you than you usually are, but it's just going to calm you down before you go into that presentation. Lastly, L-theanine increases dopamine and GABA activity in the brain. Okay, and so when this happens, people feel less fear and stress. Very good one. I give this to my son before he goes to bed. So he just like calms his brain down and he feels safer. Prime fertility, not prime virility. Okay, so the goals with this product here, we're optimizing the quality of the existing eggs. Okay, we are looking at controlling insulin and blood sugar. We're looking to provide antioxidants to the body in the form of CoQ10 and pyroquinolone, quinone, and N-acetylcysteine. Those are great for antioxidants, but also mitochondrial health. We have chaste-tree is in here, or Vitex. Sorry, I said Vitex earlier. Chaste-tree is the other name for it. We bring up progesterone and estrogen balance with that Vitex. And lastly, methylfolate and choline. These are two like such amazing ingredients, and we need them so bad for fetal health, for that healthy neural and cellular development. And I'm proud to say that this product has some really like a decent dose of it in there. If you're taking like a cheaper prenatal, I would really encourage you to look at the choline and look at the folate in the product and like ask someone about it and then upgrade. Okay, upgrade to a better product. Pay a little bit more. It's worth it. One question that has come up before is, if I'm taking prime fertility and I get pregnant, should I keep taking it? And I would say no. Okay, so stop taking that, and then you can move on to, I think CanPrev has a prenatal vitamin as well, so take that one. 1 scoop per day with food, take it anytime. Questions about PCOS often come up in naturopathic medicine because the concern is widely talked about online and is widely accepted. However, the conventional ways to go about treating PCOS just sometimes aren't that helpful. Okay, so the conventional doctors, like, they know about PCOS, they know how to diagnose it, but the support and treatment of it is more comprehensive when you get into the naturopathic medical space. So a lot of things we can do in order to support females with PCOS. And here's a little infographic, like, what is PCOS? What does it look like? So we got excessive body hair growth, right? This is due to hormone change, right? There's more estrogen, there's more testosterone that's happening. Weight changes and trouble losing weight, right? This, I would say, has a connection to blood sugar dysregulation. Ovarian cysts can occur and can get worse with higher estrogen to progesterone levels. Libido, whoops, sorry about that. Libido goes down. Your periods can be all over the place. Can be balding happening, like a male pattern hair loss. That's also hormone related, like testosterone related. There can be trouble conceiving, mood changes, acne, fatigue, and then insulin resistance, like I said, like the blood sugar dysregulation. So nutrients like inositol, chromium, berberine, all have been used to support females with PCOS, but we must not forget the importance of physical activity and diet. Okay, these are really, really important. It can be tough because the energy isn't there and the weight change is slow to move. So these people that have PCOS, they need accountability and they need support. Okay, whether that's from a doctor, from a health coach, from a personal trainer, whatever, they need help. They need support. They can do it, but they need support. So seeing a naturopathic doctor who has a focus in hormones and better yet PCOS, definitely an excellent idea. I did talk just really briefly on trouble conceiving or infertility. So it's been labeled as a cause of infertility. However, if we work with the body, then conception can be successful. So now let's recap, okay? So we talked about a lot of great stuff tonight, a lot of great products, and we have some good time for questions. So we talked about hormones, what, where, how, where they come from, what are they for, how do they work. We talked about the hormone cascade and like what that looks like. We talked about the effect of stress on hormones, okay? And we talked about mitochondria. We also talked about hormones and fertility and lifestyle and diet and specific nutrients. And so a bunch of stuff to support the regular production of hormones themselves. I'm just realizing right now that one topic I didn't really touch on was this effect of stress on hormones. Okay, so I'm just going to flip back to back to the hormone cascade. Okay, I think this is really relevant. So here's the hormone cascade. And so remember I talked about stress and the hormone that is active in stress, and it's cortisol. Okay. When we are chronically stressed out, this is being produced a lot, okay, more consistently. And so what do you think is happening to these other pathways? Right? Not as much being produced. Okay. So when we are stressed out, this pathway is more dominant. All right. It's more dominant. And progesterone and estrogen, testosterone are not being produced as efficiently when we need it. So you can see the effect of chronic stress on all the other aspects of physiology. So the stuff that progesterone affects, the physiology that estrogen affects, the physiology that testosterone affects. Okay. So let's take libido, for instance. Someone who is chronically stressed out, their libido might be low. So what are the drivers of libido? Testosterone and progesterone. Okay. For someone who is chronically stressed out, they don't have energy, they don't have, and they have a tougher time. They have a tougher time losing weight. Okay, so they're gathering more fat, then less testosterone is being produced. Okay, so we need to chill out. Not chill out, that's not a good way to put it. We need to reduce our stress so we can allow testosterone to work in order to create more muscle, to create to burn more fat. Okay, so that's another kind of example. So I just wanted to highlight that. So let's get to some questions at the end here. This is my information. So feel free to give me a follow on Instagram or Facebook. I'm definitely more active on Instagram. And then also if you need to get in touch with me personally, you just email us hello@virtualhealthcollective.ca and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So, and of course, follow CanPrep. They got some awesome resources on their website. And they're also very receptive to feedback and questions too. So let's get to some questions. Q&A. Okay, so this one, does systemic inflammation cause fluid retention that presents as subcutaneous fat in the abdomen, presents as a balloon of slushy fluid? But oh, I'm sorry, I don't really know how to answer that question. That's pretty multifaceted. So there could be a number of reasons why you're retaining fluid. If that is the case, I can't really answer that one. Yeah, you need to maybe see your doctor about that one, because if there's fluid that's moving around, then you need some medical assistance there. This person says, I watched your sleep webinar a while ago and did not write down the suggestions as I thought the recording was going to be emailed to us. Can you please send a list of suggestions? Thank you. You know what? Please. This one is online. Yeah, Google YouTube that one. Just go put Dr. Rory Gibbons sleep and stress, and then it should come up. Okay, there. Then you can just like go to just rip through them, and then see the suggestions there. Greg says there's a lot of talk these days about mitochondrial support. What would you recommend for supplements? We talked about that. Oh, that question was at 414. There are many products like MitoQ and Energy Says. Just wondering what to look for, what to avoid, and what to recommend. Yeah. Many products like mitochondria. Yeah, I talked about mitochondrial formula earlier. The Prime Virility is my go-to for mitochondrial formulas. Carnitine, CoQ10. Yeah, those are kind of the bigger mitochondrial players. MitoQ, I've seen that product on my Instagram feed. I don't know much about it, or Energesis, so I can't really comment on those guys. But I would say if you're going to get one, like ask someone about it first instead of just looking at their website and then being like, oh, this is good, because it's kind of biased. Greg also says there's a lot of good info now about cannabis for our health. So is cannabis good or bad for sperm? Yeah, so all I can say about that is like cannabis is not helping our sperm morphology. Okay. That being said, the difference between the THC and the CBD, the effect of that on sperm specifically, I don't know, but so far I can tell you that what I know, the resources that have come to me have said like cannabis, people that consume cannabis overall have lower quality sperm and semen analyses. Can you please recommend products or diet for helps for hormone balance post-menopause? Yeah, healthy hormones is one, but the best thing to do right now post-menopause for you, Susan, or for whoever you're referring to, is seeing a naturopathic doctor and asking about bioidentical hormone prescribing, right? Like poor sleep, vaginal dryness, and atrophy. You can get those. You can get those effects from improving progesterone levels, but you might need some more. So why don't you? Because that, those symptoms that you listed there could be very minor, or it could be very more like really severe. So depending on where you're at on that trajectory or in the spectrum of symptoms, you might need something more than diet and herbs. Another question. So I don't understand the difference between progesterone and testosterone in men, what their function is, and if we need to increase these hormones and reduce our DHT. So progesterone and estrogen live in men as well, but in lower amounts. Testosterone is the dominant hormone in men, or dominant sex hormone in men. So testosterone, like progesterone, is more feeding into the hormone cascade, and testosterone is like the testosterone. What it's doing is governing our ability to have erections, ability to procreate, produce sperm, give us motivation, give us our competitive edge, ability to, produce muscle. Okay, and do we want to increase these hormones? We want to sustain testosterone if possible as much as we can, and support its ability to be produced as much as possible. If a man is older and they have androgen decline, then testosterone replacement therapy could be an option, and that could be very helpful. But we have to remember is if you go on TRT, then that is like a lifelong thing. Reduce our DHT levels. Yeah, I mean, DHT is dihydrotestosterone. This is the most potent form of testosterone, and this, excuse me, this has an effect on our prostate. It increases the prostate as we age, and so that can create BPH, or benign prostatic hyperplasia, and this can also be a driver behind male pattern baldness. And those women that have polycystic ovarian syndrome, DHT levels, that's a type of testosterone, is higher for them. So do we want to reduce it? If we can, yeah. Very potent form of testosterone. Ashini says, ACE's zinc supplement, wondering what your thoughts are regarding that. That's kind of vague. I take it for immune support. Patricia says, what is the best way to treat/reverse insulin resistance? Is berberine the best supplement for it? Berberine, what I can tell you there is that berberine is the natural supplement that has the best evidence to support insulin resistance. Okay, so we got to remember what I said earlier. It's, we got to get the health foundations down. Okay, so if you are in that insulin resistant stage where you're not diabetic yet, then you need to start moving your body, eating better, like eating more protein, eating more fiber, and then berberine is not a bad idea. But I would say first thing, find out how insulin resistant you are, so you can like run an insulin test, a fasting insulin test, and a fasting glucose test, and a hemoglobin A1C. Your doctor will know that, what to do there, and then based on that, go with either, go with a medication, or go with berberine. So depending on where the spectrum of insulin resistance you are. So it's not just like, what is the best supplement for insulin resistance? Like, whereabouts are you, and how far along is the beta cell burnout in your pancreas? Bit of a convoluted answer, but berberine is the product that has, or is the supplement that has the best evidence around it. Talk more about L-theanine. I tried it for stress during the day, but it makes me too tired, so I take it at night now. Can be used long term. Yes. Any other helps for sleep? Yeah, so like I said at the end, I think I alluded to the end there. It's there to make you It's there to calm your mind down. So if it makes you tired, I would say that we need to get you sleeping more. Okay. So take it at nighttime to calm your brain in order to sleep better. Can it be used long term? Any other helps? Yeah, I think you can use long term. I don't think there's any negative effects there. Any other helps for sleep? Yeah, get up and go to sleep at the same time every day because it resets your cortisol rhythm, and that will help to get your natural hormones online in the evening. Thoughts on low T as a suspected result of traumatic brain injury? It's a possibility for sure, because testosterone produced in the testes, that is governed by luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone from the brain. So if you damage that part of the brain, you can, you can, yeah, it can be a result. So you have to test LH and FSH and testosterone and prolactin actually too. That would be helpful to know where the problem of low T is coming from. Very investigative answer, or investigative situation, which I'm really interested in. And so Greg says, with so many testosterone supplements out there, truly a plethora you can find online. Absolutely, I agree. How is CanPrev's different, and what should I be looking for and to avoid in a testosterone supplement? Didn't I talk about CanPrev's Rocket T, and the other the other herb that I often use are the two other herbs, Tribulus terrestris and Tonkat Ali. Those are two good herbs to use for improving like low testosterone related concerns. Things to avoid: products that can't back up their nutrients, shady marketing, and cheap products, I would say. This person says, I like carnitine for energy, but I don't love that it makes me stink. Oh, I'm sorry that's happening. I just didn't see that coming. Any comparable alternative? Yeah, the ones that I talked about, like the Adrenal Pro, that would be a good one. And then, yeah, I'm sorry, mitochondrial support makes you smell. My thought here is that there may be some gut issues going on. Bondi says, is the healthy hormones product good for women in perimenopause? Yes. But also see your doctor about that, because what your other symptoms might be, they might be more helped by a specific herb or maybe even bioidentical hormone replacement. Not a question, but I love L-theanine. Great. Not sure if my body is just particularly sensitive to it or if it's just awesome across the board. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. Tired and wired, that's me. Can't sleep, so tired the next day. Yeah, you need to sleep more. So look at I'd say go to the webinar that I did on stress and sleep. How do you know if you need Adrenal Chill or Adrenal Pro? Yeah, so that I answered that in the presentation. Adrenal Chill is more for those tired and wired people, and then Adrenal Pro is for the people that need a big or a pick me up. Right? Is adrenal safe to take with SSRIs? You need to talk to your doctor about that. I'm not going to answer that on SSRIs. For those that don't know, SSRIs are selective serotonin receptor inhibitors. This other person says, why is myo-inositol used in formulas versus D-chiro? Yeah, it's a good question. Myo-inositol versus D-chiro, they do different things. Simple enough. The prime fertility is myo-inositol. It has more effect on ovulation versus the D-chiro. D-chiro is more like blood sugar support. Can imbalance in cortisol levels cause high cholesterol? I would say high levels of cortisol can cause high levels of sugar, which causes high levels of triglycerides, which is a type of cholesterol. But these things often coincide: high cortisol, chronic stress levels, and blood sugar and high cholesterol. Okay, I got a couple more minutes here. Please put up your contact information again. Yeah, for sure. Here you go. How do you reduce cortisol when you are stressed? I need you to look. If that wasn't clear during this presentation, I'm sorry. So that's a big, I mean, cortisol. Okay, so how do you reduce cortisol based on the information in this presentation? Using those stress supporting products. So the ones that have KSM 66 in the ingredient list, excuse me, like Adrenal Pro and Adrenal Chill. Those are two really great cortisol supporting products, and they should bring the cortisol down or retrain it. And then the other stuff like physical activity, restorative type yoga, cutting toxic people out of your life, sleep, my goodness, sleep. Margaret Rivard, you raised your hand a lot this day. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or not, but I'm almost done here. Okay, does CoQ10 increase breast cancer risk in postmenopause? I don't know that connection. I've never heard that connection before. I don't think so. CoQ10 is really great across the board, but please talk to your doctor about that one. What does PCOS stand for? Polycystic ovarian syndrome. Can you take adrenal chill or adaptogens while taking SSRIs? I've answered that one already. I'm hesitant to answer that one because I haven't. I would go a different route as far as using an adaptogen while taking an SSRI, just because there's a bunch of different herbs out there that are considered adaptogens that do different things, and I don't want them to interact with your medication. If you exercise in a fasted state, how does this affect your stress hormones? Depends on who you ask. I would say that we are really splitting hairs when it comes to exercise and fasting. There's some people that say like exercise will increase the fat mobilization, which improves your muscle metabolism. That's what they use is fat for energy. However, I want people to just move consistently. And if you feel like you feel better when you eat and you exercise, then do that. If you feel okay fasting and exercising, that's fine. Just don't put yourself in danger, please. I don't know how it affects stress hormones themselves. I'm not sure about the data and how that works. Adrenal chill, best for my perimenopause. I'm 51. You need to talk to your doctor about that, please. Postmenopause is lowest again for the last year. You need to talk to someone. Talk to someone about that, please. Can melatonin be taken with bedtime supplements you recommended? Yep. Any suggestion for a male baldness that started in late 20s? My son is now 45. Stress factor during age 25, 30. Yeah, it could be testosterone related. It also could be genetic related. Hair loss is a tricky one. The whole presentation. You take adrenal chill if you have a hypothyroidism. I don't see why not. Is adrenal burnout fatigue a real thing? Is it actually a medical diagnosis that can be scientifically proven, or is this adrenal burnout? Yeah, so that's a big conversation. Adrenal fatigue is a term that I don't use. You probably noticed I did not use it during our presentation today. Adrenal glands aren't fatiguing out. They are working. If they fatigue out and don't work, that's a medical emergency, right? So what's happening here is a dominant thing. So is a dominance thing. So when you're chronically stressed over time, then cortisol can be produced at a lower level, and that can feed back on the brain, which can cause a down regulation of adrenal cortisol production. Okay. And then there's a few different stages. Is it a medical diagnosis? No, it's not. So I do talk about adrenal burnout. Actually, I don't talk about adrenal burnout that much anymore. I talk about burnout because that is a thing. That's a very well documented thing starting in the 70s with medical physicians. So that's a whole nother like conversation. I did write a blog on that in like 2019, and it's out in the world, but I probably would change it now. Caffeine raise your cortisol levels? Yes. Over time. Yeah. Not over time. It does raise your cortisol levels. Okay, that's all the time I have for tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate all the questions. If you have any other more questions, please reach out to the CanPrev team. And thanks for Darlene for answering questions on the back end. Have a great evening. I can hear my kids upstairs and they need me. So I'm going to stop the chat now. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful questions. And give me a follow on Instagram. I'm really pushing social media this month. I got some pretty sweet content coming up. Have a good night, everybody. Good to see you again. Bye.